Everyone thinks Machu Picchu is sitting on a mountain. It isn't. When scientists began drilling beneath the visible plazas, they did not find solid granite. They found something that changes everything you thought you knew about how this city was built, and whether it should still be standing. This is not a story about hidden chambers or ancient mysteries. It is more unsettling than that. What lies beneath Machu Picchu is an engineering system so precise, so deliberately balanced, that once you understand it, you stop seeing a monument. You start seeing tension. For centuries, the assumption was simple. The Inca found a stable granite ridge and built on top of it. Granite is strong. The Andes are old. The mountain is the foundation. Case closed. That assumption is wrong. When engineers conducted subsurface stabilization studies beneath the site, the drill cores told a different story. In multiple sections, excavation found nearly 3 meters of constructed substructure beneath what appears to be flat ground. Not rubble, not collapsed debris. Deliberate, engineered layers, large stone fragments at the base, then gravel, then sand, then soil, then the surface tourists walk on today. 3 meters of invisible architecture, beneath every plaza, beneath every open courtyard, beneath the ground that millions of people have stood on without any idea what was underneath. The Inca did not build on the mountain, they built into it. Here's where it gets disturbing. When archaeologists mapped the visible terraces above ground and compared them to the substructure below, the alignment was exact. Every terrace above has a corresponding stabilization layer beneath it. Every retaining wall is supported by engineered reinforcement extending downward. The city is not a surface construction, it is a vertical system. What you can see is only the top half. Remove the mountain around Machu Picchu and leave only what the Inca engineered. You would not see a shallow foundation sitting on bedrock. You would see a structural column, descending deep into fractured rock, interlocked with the ridge itself. Fractured rock. Geologists studying the site have documented something that rarely appears in the visitor guides. The granite beneath Machu Picchu is not solid. It is cut through with intersecting fracture networks, natural cracks formed by millions of years of tectonic stress. Underground, these fractures form corridors, pressure pathways, water channels, and lines of weakness running through the core of the mountain. And the Inca built directly along them, not roughly, precisely. Major walls and drainage corridors follow these fracture lines with an alignment that cannot be accidental. The builders identified the internal skeleton of the mountain and threaded their architecture through it, not resisting the fractures, but using them. Which raises a question with no satisfying answer. How did they map something they couldn't see? There were no ground-penetrating radar systems, no subsurface imaging, no geological surveys. Whatever knowledge guided those decisions was developed through observation, experimentation, and time, likely across multiple generations. The precision isn't incidental. It's the whole point. At the summit of the citadel stands the Intihuatana stone, usually described as ceremonial or astronomical. Structurally, however, it sits at the convergence of the major fracture zones beneath the main temple complex. Trace those geological lines downward, and they form a vertical axis through the ridge. The Inca did not just place their most sacred stone at the highest visible point. They placed it at the highest structural convergence. The city's symbolic center and its geological center are the same point. That is not coincidence. It is a level of spatial understanding that is difficult to fully account for, even now. Now understand what the mountain actually is. The ridge is steep, heavily fractured, and exposed to intense seasonal rainfall. On fractured granite under heavy water saturation, the natural outcome is not stability. It is a landslide. The mountain wants to move. Gravity and water pressure are constantly working against it. Without intervention, the ridge would not hold a city. It would shed one. The Inca did not fight those forces. They redirected them. Beneath the plazas, engineers found more than 100 discrete drainage outlet points across the site. Water enters at the summit, moves downward through the engineered layers, and exits at the lower terraces before pressure can build. The terraces act as counterweights. The drainage channels relieve hydrostatic pressure. The layered fills absorb saturation and redirect it downward in a controlled path. The city is essentially a vertical filtration column, threaded through a fractured mountain, continuously managing forces that have never stopped acting on it. This is the part that stays with you. Machu Picchu's stability does not come from mass or solidity. It comes from balance, a precise, continuous, dynamic balance between water and stone, fracture and reinforcement, gravity and counterweight, which means beneath the stone plazas, there are controlled voids, engineered gaps, hidden flow routes, and pressure release chambers, not dramatically hollow, but not solid in the way people assume. The ground beneath your feet at Machu Picchu is designed to let things move through it: water, pressure, force. Because on a fractured ridge, you cannot stop those things. You can only manage them. And management implies vulnerability. If one drainage layer fails, pressure redistributes. If pressure redistributes unevenly, stress accumulates. Stress seeks release. On fractured granite in the Andes, that release does not look like a hairline crack. It looks like a mountain moving. Roughly half of Machu Picchu's total engineering exists below what visitors see. The postcard image, the stone walls, the terraces, the citadel rising from the ridge is only the upper expression of the system. The visible architecture is the output. The hidden substructure is the mechanism that makes it possible. And the deeper researchers examined it, the more one conclusion became unavoidable. This system was not built for unlimited load or changing conditions. It was designed for a specific hydrological pattern, a specific scale of use, a specific mountain in a specific state. For 500 years, those conditions have remained within range. What happens when they do not is not a theoretical question. Climate patterns are shifting. Rainfall in the Andes is becoming less predictable, more intense in some seasons, more absent in others. Tourism has added a sustained physical load to a site that was built for a population a fraction of its current visitor numbers. Vegetation changes alter how water moves across and through the ridge. Each of these variables is individually small, but this is a system built on balance, not mass. It has no redundancy, no backup, no fail-safe. It works because every element does its job. The drainage paths stay clear. The layered fills stay intact. The counterweights stay loaded. Remove one element, and the system does not degrade gracefully. It redistributes stress until something gives. The drilling did not reveal a ruin. It revealed a mechanism, still running after 5 centuries, still managing forces that were acting on this mountain long before the first stone was placed, and that will continue long after the last one falls. Water still moves through the fractures. Gravity still pulls at the ridge. The mountain is still fractured, just as it was when the Inca first identified its internal fault lines and decided to build along them rather than against them. And somewhere beneath the most photographed ruins on Earth, a 500-year-old drainage system is quietly doing the work that keeps everything above it standing. Not because the mountain is stable, because the system is still maintaining the balance that makes stability possible. That margin is not infinite. It never was. The Inca engineered against gravity for 500 years. The forces they were managing haven't weakened. They've never stopped. And the only thing standing between Machu Picchu and the physics that want to bring it down is an invisible architecture that no one fully understood until scientists started drilling. That's not mysterious. That's not mythology. That's an engineering problem, still unsolved, still active, measured now in decades rather than centuries. And it doesn't care how famous the ruins are.